Here we are with our day 9 video. This is the 9 days to amazing ball striking drill. Now in this drill we're going to work on all 9 ball flights. It's going to give you feedback on which ones you need to practice on. It's also going to give you an overall score for how well you're doing so that you can keep track over the improvement of your ball striking over a long period of time. So in order to do this drill, we're going to pick out a target in the driving range. So if you're lucky enough to have a green out in your driving range or a large bunker, it's going to make this a lot easier. So we're only going to count the shots that land on the green or in the bunker or whatever you're aiming for. Now if you don't have that, you're going to have to pick out something like some flags or some trees in the distance and try to make sure that they land within a specified target area. Now I recommend you to keep the same target over a period of time so that you can track your improvement and see how your ball striking is getting better and better. So what we're going to do after we pick out our target, we're going to start out working through the 9 different ball flights. So if you can imagine a tic-tac-toe board, 2 lines going vertical, 2 lines going horizontal, that would make 9 squares. Now your bottom right square, you can imagine that as a low draw. So I'm hitting a low draw. As soon as I hit a low draw that lands in my target area, I'm going to go ahead and work into a medium draw. Now after I do the medium draw, I'm going to go high draw, low straight, medium straight, high straight, low fade, medium fade, high fade. Now with each square, I'm going to mark down, keep like a scorecard on how many attempts it took me to hit this specified target. Now if you're a beginning golfer, you can pick a larger target, and as you get better and better, you can go smaller and smaller targets. And that's on that scorecard, that's going to allow me to analyze my ball striking and see which pieces that I'm struggling with the most. So for me, I always played a draw. I played a draw ever since I was in high school, through college, after college, playing some on the mini tours, and I just assumed that that was the shot that I hit the best. Now as I started working through this drill a couple years ago, when I first really started practicing this way, I noticed that my fade was much more consistent. So when I looked at the boxes on the right, my draw boxes, and I compared them to my 3 boxes on the left, which are my fade boxes, my left numbers were always lower. So anytime I tried to fade a ball into the target, it was always lower. Now it didn't look as cool to me. It probably went about 10 yards shorter when I hit a fade, but it was more effective and more consistent. So I started playing a fade, and I started hitting a lot more greens by doing so. So work through all 9 drills, and I'm going to go briefly over some of the things that we want to work on as we're going through each box. So we're going to start out with, let me go ahead and put an alignment rod down here toward a target. We're going to start out with a target in the distance, and we're going low draw. Now as I'm hitting a low draw, remember I'm going to adjust my feet to the right a little bit, swing down my feet line or a little bit to the right of my feet line, and de-loft that club face by bowing the left wrist forward to get a low draw. So our feet are lined up a little to the right, we're swinging a little bit to the right, de-lofting the club face, and then also to get that draw, we're going to roll this club face around. Now if you're not comfortable with this yet, you can go back and work on these individual videos from day 1 through 8. Medium ball flight, we're going to do everything the same, except instead of bowing this left wrist down to de-loft the club, we're going to keep just a little bit of bow in the left wrist to get a natural, normal ball flight. As we go into the high draw, exact same things again, but now we're going to keep the left wrist flat. Now let's switch over to a fade. I'm going to go over straight last, so let's switch over to your left 3 boxes, low, medium, and high fade. We're going to start to line up with our feet, hips, and shoulders a little bit to the left. I'm going to be swinging to the left some. I'm going to hold that face open. So instead of letting the face roll over as we did in a draw, we're going to hold that face open a little bit and let that face kind of slide across the ball, putting left to right spin. As I'm going low, I'm going to be de-lofting the face by bowing my left wrist forward as I'm doing this. Normal trajectory, I would have a little bit of bow, and then as we're going to a high trajectory, that wrist is going to be nice and flat. So I'm going to work through all the shots in order as I'm going through them. Now the reason I did straight last is because there's really no such thing as a straight shot. It doesn't really happen, but you're going to have to give yourself kind of a margin for error based on how good of a player you are. So if you're a scratch golfer, your margin for error may be a yard or 2 to the left or right, you're going to count as a straight shot. If you're a beginning golfer, you may go 5 yards to the right or left, counts as a straight shot, and then as you improve, start to fine-tune that. Now, when I'm hitting a straight shot. Let me go ahead and try to hit a normal trajectory straight shot, and let's see what happens. Okay, so that one went a little bit straight, maybe a hair lower than normal trajectory, and a little tiny bit of a draw. I probably would have counted that because it was pretty straight and pretty close to normal trajectory, but let's pretend that I had to fine tune that. I got a little bit of a draw, so if I wanted to straighten that out, instead of letting these hands roll on over, I'm going to keep that face a little bit more open and basically keep this left wrist, instead of rolling it over, I'm going to straighten it out a little bit. Keep that face more vertical instead of turning to the left. That's going to help to straighten out my ball flight instead of having a draw. And if it had gone a little bit lower, I may not have counted it, and I needed a little bit higher trajectory. So if I needed some higher trajectory, I would basically take my left wrist and make it a little bit flatter, feel like it's a little bit more cupped instead of bowed. So what I'm doing as I'm working through all these drills is I'm looking at the ball for feedback. So I'm looking at the ball, do I want it to go higher, lower, more to the left, more to the right? And then I'm controlling this with...
Now it's time to take action. Don't let another year pass and still be frustrated with your golf game. This is your year to beat all of your friends. Go to the description below and click the link to sign up for your free membership. It will never cost you a dime, and you'll receive over 2.5 hours of detailed, eye-opening video lessons. Plus, you will be able to see the remainder of this video, only available if you click the link on this particular video. Be the first of your friends to join our 40,000 plus free members. We look forward to having you on our team.